Hello and welcome to Steelbook Obsessed. My name is Jake, and one reason why I'm so obsessed with steelbooks is because of the physical media that is inside of them. I don't know what it is about popping in a disc. It just feels so magical to me still. I mean, the video quality is one thing, but the main reason why I really love collecting physical media is because of the special features that are on side of the discs. I don't think that gets talked about enough in this community. Drives me a little bit nuts. So what I kind of want to do is drill into some of my favorite types of bonus features, of special features on DVDs, Blu-rays, all that jazz. And the first one I want to talk about, it's the best feeling in the world when you watch a movie and you absolutely fall in love with it. And then you drill into the special features and you find that there's a bonus movie inside of the movie you just bought. It's the best. Specifically documentaries. I'm a big documentary guy, just talking heads, talking about the thing that you just watched to get as many inside juicy nugget details as you possibly can about the making of that movie, or about like a sub-tangent from the movie that you just watched. Here are 4 examples that immediately came to my brain on movies that do exactly this. You watch the movie, you find a great documentary about the movie, and you just enjoy every single second of it. But before I start introducing these to you all, maybe going through your collection to see if you have these movies yourself, please make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. It's been growing very well as of late, and any more growth would be greatly appreciated. So the first movie I want to talk about is one of my favorite movies of all time. In fact, over on my Letterboxd account, it has constantly been on my top 4 favorites over there. It's my favorite film of the 2010s. It is The Social Network. Love me some David Fincher. This and Zodiac very close to each other for my favorite Fincher movie. I think both of them are absolutely perfect, but I give this one a slight edge, I think, just because I can't believe he made coding as fascinating to watch as he did. He made it like action. He made it like an action movie, and it's just very cool to see. And that's why when I got done watching this for the first time at home, I was very happy to see that there was a documentary on here. And the documentary is called How Did They Ever Make a Movie of Facebook? A feature-length documentary in 4 parts. And when they say feature-length documentary, they are not kidding around here. I want to say the documentary is longer than the movie itself. I want to say the documentary is like 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45. It's very long, but it goes by so quick because you get into the mind of David Fincher, and I absolutely love to see that. Just seeing the creative process of any director behind the scenes and getting like just what the mood is on set from everybody on board, from the people making the props to the actors, everything. It's just that side of the movie making process is so fascinating to me. And anytime you like take a peek behind the curtains, it always feels like you shouldn't be able to do that, but you are. And I absolutely love that. If you're a fan of The Social Network, highly recommend that you watch the documentary. And I want to say that it is loggable on Letterboxd as well, and I don't think I've done it because it's been a while since I've seen the documentary. But you know a documentary is good when you haven't seen it in what, like a decade probably at this point, and you can still remember how amazing it is. My brain's terrible, so if it sticks in my brain, you know it's a good one. Let's go with another making of documentary next, because this is a movie that I just watched for the first time a couple months ago. I love time travel movies. I just didn't really know too much about this movie, 12 Monkeys, the Arrow Video Edition specifically. I enjoyed the hell out of 12 Monkeys. I don't know, it's one of those movies to where like, why did it take me so long to watch it? There's so many of them. There's still a list of movies that I haven't seen that I know I need to. I finally marked 12 Monkeys off the list, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, I liked it so much that I was digging in the special features, and I found a feature-length documentary again called The Hamster Factor and Other Tales of 12 Monkeys. What makes this documentary so fascinating to me is that not only were they filming behind the scenes when they were making this movie, they filmed the editing process, they filmed the promotional process. Like it starts out with Terry Gilliam on the set of The Late Show, or Late Night with David Letterman. Late Night with David Letterman. Yeah, I haven't seen the show in a long time, forgot what it was called. But it's just him in the back, hearing the intro to the show with his name being called out, like legendary director Terry Gilliam, and it's just cracking jokes. One of the best making of documentaries I've ever seen. It's different than The Social Network. The Social Network is fully on the making of process. What makes this one so special is that it talks about everything about the movie and the promotional process and just every bit about the making of 12 Monkeys while it was actually being made. Sometimes you see these making of documentaries and they're talking about a movie like 10 years down in the future, reminiscing about the making of. I like seeing making ofs while they're actually making it. I think there's something raw, and they have no idea how the movie is going to end up, and that comes up a couple times in 12 Monkeys. They talk about how they think they're losing the plot while they're directing it. Are people going to be confused? There's test audiences seeing their reactions to this movie and hearing Terry Gilliam just talk complete shit about the test audiences is very, very hilarious. Definitely worth a watch. And this is one of those titles that you know is just sitting on your shelf like me. You finally get around to watching it. Both the 4K and the Blu-ray Steelbook are very, very good looking, worth your time. Even just the Blu-ray on here looks pretty dang solid. And I want to say it's always less than like 20 bucks. You can always find it very, very relatively good priced. So if you don't have this in your collection and you like time travel movies, if you miss Bruce Willis as an action star, this is a great vehicle for him. Brad Pitt is crazy and zany as always. Yeah, I'd recommend 12 Monkeys, and if you like 12 Monkeys and you haven't seen this doc, make sure to do that. The next one I want to talk about is one that it's probably one of the first ones that I ever really remember and stuck in my brain as a very cool piece to have. Back in the day, DVDs did this a lot. They cared about the special features they were putting in their sets. And one set that I really dug into when this originally came out was Batman, the motion picture anthology, you know, just the Shoemakers and the Burtons. The first 4 Batman movies. Love them. I am a kid of the 90s. The first movie I remember seeing with a group of people was Batman and Robin, so I have a very soft spot in my heart for that movie. I was in 2nd grade. We had like a watch along in the basement after school. It was pitch black in there. The school was made in like the 1910s. It was just a very, very cool experience, and I've loved Batman ever since. There are a lot of cool documentaries on here. Each one is individually like cased within this box. But, I mean, the movies are great. We all know that. And I have upgraded to Blu-ray and to 4K. But for some reason, the special features did not make the transition with those suckers. I have a 4K Batman box set up here that, of course, has way better pictures, but it doesn't have these amazing documentaries. And there's more than one documentary on all of these suckers, too. But the main one I want to talk about is called Shadows of the Bat. And the cool part about this documentary is that it's broken up onto each individual disc. Like the first 3 parts are on the making of Batman and like the past history of the character. So parts 1 through 3 are on the first disc. The parts that talk about Batman Returns are on Batman Returns. I think this is just part 4 now, and then it breaks up into 5 and 6 with Returns and Forever. Yeah, part 5 is on here. I'm just double checking just to make sure. And part 6 is on here on Batman and Robin. Just very, very informative. It brings back a lot of the cast and behind the scenes people for interviews to get there. This is one of the times to where reminiscing about how your experience was is very beneficial, because I know that you can kind of talk about like, oh, hey, this is the biggest gamble in Hollywood history, and I do like to hear that come out of their mouths while the process is happening, but you would never get that at that time. It's nice to kind of have some time pass and have Batman as a movie star character be as big and symbolic as he was and still is. So just hearing people like Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher, you get a lot of behind the scenes, like toyetic comes up a lot from Joel Schumacher's mouth, like the definition of that, trying to make the movie that he's shooting sell as many toys as possible. It's just a lot of very, very cool details. And like I said, there's a couple more documentaries on here that are still very good. There's one called Legends of the Dark Knight, The History of Batman, which goes over from like his birth to the year 2000, I want to believe. There's that. There's some documentary galleries in here. I want to say there's more documentaries on all of these. Yeah, The Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin. That's a documentary on the making of Batman Returns while it was being made. Not as good as Shadows of the Bat, but still pretty solid. Riddle Me This, Why is Batman Forever? Just a lot of interesting bonus material to sink your teeth into. Highly recommend that. And I don't own a lot of DVDs anymore, but the ones that I do are because you can't find the special features anywhere else. So I will always have this in my collection, and it does look pretty dang cool as well. Big fan of the Bat. I know a lot of you are too. This is also very, very cheap. Highly recommend you getting your hands on this. I also think that the documentary Shadows of the Bat you can find it on YouTube pretty readily. I want you to watch this one because it is fun, and yeah, definitely very informative too. It's definitely worth a watch. And the last documentary is neat because it's a documentary inside of a documentary. I recently watched Creepshow for the first time last year when I was trying to watch as many horror anthology movies as I could during Spooky Dooky season in October. And one of the ones that I finally got around to watching was Creepshow. I thought the movie was just okay. I wanted to like it a little bit more than what I did. But the practical effects in that sucker, you can't help but fall in love with. That's the main reason why I picked up this release from Synapse Films called Just Desserts, The Making of Creepshow. And that's not the documentary I'm talking about. This is just the movie that has a documentary housed inside of it. This is very informative as well. It's a very solid documentary. But the one that's included in the special features is a documentary I liked even more than this one. And I want to get the title right here. It is called Scream Greats Volume 1, Tom Savini, Master of Horror Effects. And what's so cool about this documentary is that it was made in the 80s. It was made during the making of Creepshow. So very, layered on top of layer. We're getting into some Inception layers here, folks. And it's about Tom Savini going over his history up until Creepshow. It was made by Fangoria magazine. It was the first documentary, to my knowledge, that they made, at least the first in this series. I wish the series went a little bit longer because it says Scream Greats Volume 1. They also made a Volume 2 about witchcraft. I would love to see the Scream Greats Volume 1 and 2 put out by a boutique label of some sort. There's just I think I could just see the packaging now. Fangoria magazine on the slipcover. My brain immediately goes to Vinegar Syndrome. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but you need to watch this documentary on Tom Savini. There's a documentary that came out a couple years ago called Smoke and Mirrors about Tom Savini as well. That one's good. It's a very solid doc. I like this one a little bit more just because it feels a little bit more fresh. Like Smoke and Mirrors kind of felt like a man reminiscing about his career, and while his career has long passed him. I love Tom Savini. He's made some of the best practical effects in movies, but now, he has his own studio. He's running that. He's trying to teach the next generation. That's great. What I am fascinated in is the stuff that he made on screen. That's what he will always be remembered for. So watching him talk about those effects that he made while still being filmed and made in the 80s, it just feels so raw, and he feels still connected to everything. It's a very, very good watch, and it's only like an hour long. It's a very quick watch. I'll pop the Letterboxd review up now because it is on there. One of the better special feature finds that I have found in quite a while, just because I was not expecting to find another documentary inside of this documentary. And I couldn't have been happier when I stumbled upon this. This is the main reason why I wanted to make this video today. This kind of implanted this in my brain. And this is just Volume 1. Speaking of Volume 1 on the Screen Grades, this is Volume 1 on this documentary series. Anytime that I watch a movie in my collection behind me and I see a documentary, I'll make another list. I'll make a Volume 2 to this. But I also want to explore more special features, like maybe the best gag reels in special features from physical media. I have a lot of stuff brewing in my head. If you have any ideas that you want to throw my way on special features that you like to see, make sure you comment them below because I'm fascinated with it. Again, not enough people talk about the special features on the disc. I love steelbooks. I get to talk about the casing of movies a lot, but I don't really hear a lot of people talk about the goodies that are on the physical disc. And that's, at the end of the day, why we're collecting this stuff, because we love to watch movies. We love the experience of picking something off the shelf for the first time, popping it in, and just, you know, hopefully falling in love with a blind buy, or going back to a movie that you love and watching it again and falling in love with it again. And then digging into the special features just to get as much info as possible. But that's been volume 1 of my documentary series. Let me know in the comments if you found any documentaries yourself. I want to hear what you have to say. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you.